Yeah, in this video I'll be going over some of the later stuff that happens to Bora in my Veiled Kingdom series. So, just note the disclaimer, I won't go into in-depth in too many things, yeah, I felt like I needed to put that in there, especially since it's mostly mentioned in the speed paint. So this is a little reference sheet I did for Bora when I was trying to figure out what he would look like, and I had my description of him already written out in my notes, and I did several different ones over the several months I've been working on them. And I forgot to pull up my notes before I started recording. Which the notes just say Bora is a short, slender trans man with fair skin, black hair, and gray eyes. He has scars on his chest where he cut his breast away at 13, which will also be put in the actual finished piece. So yeah, that's not a whole lot to work with. I knew I wanted him to have about, chin or shoulder length hair. I know I said in my last video on world building where I talked about the Kingdom of Night, where Bora was fostered into, that I suck at drawing men with shorter hair, but I also genuinely thought that the slightly longer hair fitted Bora's character, and his gray eyes are actually a character point because he shares the same gray eyes with his biological brother and mother, because that's a plot point that happens. So basically, Bora's revenge quest does not go how he thinks it does. He quickly realizes that it was an accident, and Bora is a very emotionally driven character, and he cannot in good conscience kill people over a mistake. So he goes after the weakest member of the group, which is Catherine, or Cat as she's called, and she is unsuccessful, but he doesn't know that at first. He pushes her off a cliff, thinks she dies. She doesn't. She comes back several months later and is like, Bora tried to kill me. Bora tells them the story starting from the beginning when he was put in the monastery, why, the Kingdom of Night is his home, and him falling in love with Rakesh, and they feel horrible for what they did, because this entire time they have been trying to run, because they knew that they weren't supposed to kill that particular person. They did not know they killed the crown prince. They had no idea who this man was that they killed on accident. I say they. It was Alistair. It was one of the four that killed Rakesh. I say they like they all did, but they're all running from it, and honestly, they're all running from it because Alistair couldn't take 2 minutes to just confirm that the target they were supposed to kill was this person. So they let Bora go, and Bora returns to the Kingdom of Night. You would see in the upper, I think, right-hand corner, this is the scene I'm about to talk about. Bora's back in the Kingdom of Night. He is miserable. And he tells them before he goes back, do not follow me back into the Kingdom of Night. I cannot protect you. King Felix will kill you if you come into the Kingdom of Night. I do not want to see you dead. I have genuinely learned to like you over the year I have been traveling with you. Do not return to the Kingdom of Night. What do you think they do 6 months later? They return to the Kingdom of Night and they're brought to the throne room in King Felix gives Bora the opportunity to kill them. Bora's claimed their lives, when he went on his revenge quest, and he doesn't tell King Felix the truth about what happens. He just says that, I never found them. I traveled for months, I never found them. And Bora has to make a choice. And I want to actually read what I put in the speed thing real quick. Just now realizing how dumb Alistair and crew are. How did I manage to not kill them? Shit, now I have to save them. So he does. He goes up, he draws his sword, he acts like he's going to kill them, and he whispers in Alistair's ear, when I say now, bow your heads and hold your breath. And he starts going, and he disguises the now as a monologue of, now I will take revenge on you, or something along those lines. I haven't quite nailed out the details. And he blows a poisonous powder to the rest of the court that knocks them out. And he also knocks out the one guard that did not get poisoned. But here's the thing, the guard saw that. Bora has now committed treason. He cannot stay in the Kingdom of Night. So, along with the Queen's help, because the Queen loves Bora like a son, the Queen and the Poison Master, who also really likes Bora, actually wanted to train Bora, since Rakish is no longer here, and Bora's been in kind of a limbo this entire time. He also wanted to train Bora to be a new poison master because Bora is really, really good herbalist and one of the few people over his time that this poison master has actually gotten the attention of. Who's gotten the attention of the poison master, but it doesn't end up working out like that. So Nalini helps them escape, Queen Nalini, and Bora is miserable this entire time because he is miserable while in the Kingdom of Night because he's in this state of limbo because since he was 12 years old, even before that, Rakish still brought him with him to his lessons. But he's known he was going to be future prince consort since he was 12 when they were officially engaged to each other. He's been trained to be the perfect prince consort for years. At the time of Rakish's death, for 4 years, he had been trained. And he has been sort of in a limbo, like, Rakish is dead. King Felix wants him to bond with another one of his sons and then force Queen Nalini... Oh my god, why did I pick such a name I could not remember for the queen? Nalini to pick whoever Bora chooses. And here's the thing. Most of the sons that are sort of being pushed at Bora are treating him like shit. Because they sort of see him as, like, the way to the throne and not really seeing him as a person. And Bora really doesn't like being treated like an object. Even though, at times, Rakish sort of treat him like in a joking way. Like, he would dress him up in a bunch of purple as a joke. And sort of make a pet of Bora. But Bora never saw it as, like, anything malicious when Rakish did it. He definitely can tell that they're not technically princes. They don't even have the title of prince. The only children of the king that have prince or princess titles are the children of the consort, but I'm going to say princes just for clarity. These princes see him as a literal fucking object and see him as nothing better than cattle. He is miserable, and Felix is not backing down. Bora would probably be happier stepping back and joining, the palace guards, because he was raised on top of being raised to be a prince consort. He also got military training alongside Rakish, and he has friends among the other guards. He probably would be happier if he could do that, but Felix is not budging on that, so he is not happy in the Kingdom of Night. But at the same time, the Kingdom of Night is his home. All he knows from the Ashland Empire is pain. And he knows that if the Ashland Empire knew that he was born female, they would either torture him in the monastery or they would burn him. And he's putting all of his faith in his new friends to sort of keep him safe. And they are taking that seriously. They sometimes forget that, the precarious situation Bora is in, especially as he starts building a relationship with Kat. He's like, Kat, this is sort of dangerous. We can never technically be together. That's I make this sound like it happened in such a short time. It doesn't. It builds up and they pine for a very long time to the point where everyone in the group is like, get your shit together. But it's just like, Bora's just like, I don't want to put her in danger. Because she would be in danger. And everyone else is just like, they don't care. So there is a bit of, like, comedy and with just the absolute angst. But at the same time, Bora, like I said, is an emotional character. And at the moment, he is still only seeing some of the bad. He has spent, like, 2 to 3 years in mourning. And you would have saw it in the picture when the one I read off, he's in silver and red, which is the mourning colors of the Kingdom of Night. He has been in mourning colors for years, and honestly, he knows he should be over it. And he really knows that Rakish would not want him to just languish in his own suffering. He's trying, but then shit happens, like stumbling along the monastery that I talked about in the last episode, the last part of this. And then while they're fleeing from that, they head closer to the border of the Kingdom of Night, to one of the border towns. And in these border towns, it's more of a mixed sort of culture, because you have sort of both sides of the coin. So they figured, let's head closer to the border, let Bora sort of emotionally recover from this, get a better handle on himself, and then we can move on. That does not happen. Bora splits off from the group to go do a task. He is attacked badly. That is the assault that I mentioned earlier in the content warning. Both assaults. They originally don't know about the sexual part of the assault. They just know that Bora has been beaten and stabbed repeatedly. And he was given a medallion by the queen before he left with her crest on it. Like, she was heartbroken to see him go, because she did not want to lose her last son that she had, because she sees Bora as a son, whether or not King Felix would let her adopt Bora or not. And so it was very personal, and Bora said it was someone from the Kingdom of Night. They spoke fluent moon script, and he does not know who. I originally had it be the same person who poisoned him, which I will get to that when I get to the poisoning in a second. I decided no, he would not do that. They grew up together, they were childhood friends. He would poison him, but he would not go do something so egregious, because I did not get this in the world building, but rape is actually one of the most unforgivable crimes in the Kingdom of Night. So Sadiq, who is the character that I'm talking about, would not do this. He was one of Bora and Rakish's closest friends. He was actually one of Rakish's lovers, which is why he feels sort of betrayed by Bora for seemingly betraying Rakish by, cuddling up with the people who killed him. Of course, Bora has spoken to Rakish in the afterlife, and Rakish has given him his blessing to, move on. And yeah, I like that you're with these people that keep you safe and you're happy with. And it's given him, get with Kat, have a happy life, nudge, nudge, shove, sort of thing. But Sadiq doesn't know that. Everyone has been shutting out Rakish because they just don't want to face that anything could possibly be different than the facts they already know. So no one is opening up the avenue for Rakish to walk in their dreams. Here's the thing, how the dream walking works. They could be pulled as long as someone's open to it. If you're not open to it, the dead cannot pull you cannot pull you in your dreams. No one's open to it. King Felix, no one. So Bora is the only character, and Bora's group of traveling companions are the only ones that Rakish can talk to. So Sadiq, he wasn't even intending on poisoning Bora. It was just complete happenstance, because Rakish is just like, yeah, no, as soon as Bora can even stand to be carried, you guys need to move quickly and get away from the border, because it's not safe for him to be this close to the Kingdom of Night. You need to go. So they do that, they go, and this whole time Sadiq has been in the Ashland Empire. He's been stationed there as a soldier, because, like I said, war for 1,300 years with the Ashland Empire. So he's been stationed there for forever. And they stop at an inn at the night, because Bora is badly injured still. And they're just like, yeah, no, we need to stop at an inn. It's getting into the winter. It's getting colder. We cannot justify, sleeping outside with Bora this hurt. So Sadiq recognizes Bora, and Bora recognizes him. Bora just is like, I'm going to keep my head down, because that's sort of the last person I want to see right now. Because at one time, he would have meant comfort and home, but I know that he is probably pissed at me right now. Because he thinks I betrayed my entire homeland, the people who took me in, and I do not want to put up with that. So Sadiq He basically pays someone to poison Bora's wine with pretty much the worst poison the Kingdom of Night has to offer, which I call Reaper's Kiss. It was originally called Reaper's Breath, but I said Reaper's Kiss sounded better. Um, which basically it causes mass hemorrhaging um, from the mouth, esophagus, stomach. Basically, basically, it's disgusting. Just absolute masses of blood come spurting out. And here's the thing, Bora, as a prince, and still a prince, because titles in the Kingdom of Night can't just be removed. They have to be, it's sort of a ceremony. They have to be removed, like, ceremonially with the king and the person present. And since Bora's not present, he can't have his title removed. So he is still a prince, even though he's in exile. He was desensitized to a lot of poisons. And while you can't completely desensitize to Reaper's Kiss, you can mitigate, slowly build it up where, yeah, you'll get a reaction, but it's not going to be horrible and you can survive it. Bora had 4 doses before everything went to hell. And that was, Bora isn't even sure if it's enough where he can survive it. Because this is the worst pain he's ever been in his life. Because he knows that this is bad, and he immediately recognizes as soon as the blood starts coming up, he's like, oh no. He knows what this is, because like I said, he worked really closely with the Poison Master of the Kingdom of Night, and he is a very good herbalist, at least when it comes to poisons. Healing herbs and stuff is more Kat's area of expertise, because her aunt who raised her runs an apothecary. That's an entirely different thing. I'm getting off topic, but that comes in because she's got to, try to manage it until they can get to her aunt's place, because they're like, we gotta keep Bora alive somehow. And Rakesh actually doesn't pull Bora into the dream realm. Technically, it's not the dream realm. It pulls him. Whenever they pull someone, they pull them behind the veil. He doesn't pull Bora behind the veil because he admits that if he pulled Bora behind the veil after this poisoning, Bora would not wake up. He would die because he's too weak. So he pulls Kat instead, and he's like, you need to go. The person is still there, and if he finds out Bora's alive, he's going to finish the job. He will not listen to me. You guys need to go. And Kat's like, we cannot move him. He is too weak. And he's like, you need to move him. You are not safe here. You need to go. And Kat is just like, oh my god. Really? Yep. Okay, we're going. Let me get Alistair's lazy ass up. Goes, and they have to basically carry Bora because he cannot move anywhere. And they get quite a bit of ways by sundown when they camp. And Bora knows they've been followed this entire time. He is not being fooled at all. And he's just like, I have slept this entire time. It's painful for him to talk, but he gets out, I've been sleeping this entire time. Let me sit up and take watch. And they're like, Bora, no. And Bora's just not having it because he knows this. He knows they've been followed this entire time, and he's just like, how have they not noticed that they've been followed this entire time? So once everyone's asleep, Siddiq comes out, and they have this exchange where their relationship just, whatever's left of it, just completely falls into the abyss. And Bora's just like, I don't blame you. I know what it looks like. And I don't necessarily hold it against you, but you do not know the whole thing. Go talk to Rakesh. Quit blocking him out. And Siddiq this whole time is just spewing poison at Bora. And Bora's being really reasonable in this situation, probably because he has no energy left. He's lost like 1/4 of his blood volume. His throat and mouth is all scabbed over, and he can barely talk. He hasn't eaten in like 24 hours. He's barely drank anything, just enough to stay alive. He is exhausted. He's done with all this shit. This is his second attack he's been put under in like a month. he is done with life, but he is being more civil than Siddiq probably deserves. But at the same time, this is his childhood friend, someone he did love, if not in a sexual way, in a romantic way, and someone that the love of his life did love, and he just is so, he feels betrayed and torn, but he doesn't want to see him dead, because he could have raised hell this entire time and gotten his companions' attention and woken them up, and they would have dealt with Siddiq there and then, but he doesn't want to see Siddiq die. And he even tells Siddiq, you may kill me, but you will not be leaving this camp alive, because if you kill me, my companions are going to kill you. And Siddiq leaves. Not after calling him Victoria, which was his dead name, which cut worse than anything else for Bora, because he did not ever want to hear that name again. But that's the last Bora sees of Siddiq for about almost 2 years, actually. He hears of Siddiq through the grapevine, but he does not see him. Siddiq stays away. And actually what ends up happening is Siddiq does open up for Rakesh. It's a couple months down the line, after he's already been back in the Kingdom of Night and, boasted about poisoning him, and has been sort of an outcast for a while, because Bora is still really, really well liked, especially among the other soldiers of the Kingdom of Night. He has a lot of support within the guards of the palace, especially those that he was raised and trained with, because Bora is he's a very kind person, but he's also a very talented archer and swordsman, at least on horseback, because he's so small. He's not a very good foot soldier, but when it comes to mounted cavalry, he is the best, and he is an incredibly sharp-eyed archer, and a lot of people have his respect for that, and also just respect of him being a decent fucking human being. So he's been an outcast for a while, and he finally lets Rakesh in, and Rakesh immediately breaks his nose. That's just my favorite thing I've ever written. Rakesh immediately breaking his nose. Don't ask me how that works with ghosts. It just rocks. Because Rakesh would be. He's like, you've been ignoring me for like 4 years, and then you poisoned my ex-fiance. Rakesh has always been sort of impulsive, so that is something he would do. So Bora does survive. It takes a long time, and it actually takes them going and visiting Kat's aunt, because Kat only knows some remedies, just mostly stuff to ward off infection and things, because, they're mercenaries, they're off traveling. She doesn't know a whole lot about just this horrible, grave bodily harm that Bora has sustained. He's not healing well, because obviously he can't fucking eat, and he's just barely managing to drink enough liquid to not die. And what makes it worse is, when they finally get him there, they're like, okay, Bora's safe, let's go hunt down that person that poisoned him, because they did see Siddiq. They can't put a name to Siddiq's face, because they don't know his name, only Bora does, but they saw Siddiq. They saw that Bora recognized him, and they figure, okay, Bora knows this person. They're willing to bet that this is the person who poisoned Bora. And Bora has to, drag his, half-dead butt out and stop them. And he's just like, I do not want to see this person dead. And you guys have to accept that. And they do begrudgingly accept it. And they accept it, they accept he's alive, and they stay with Anne, who is Catherine's aunt, for a little bit before heading to Alistair's parents' place. Bora is still vaguely injured. He's got one wound that has not healed at all on his shoulder that's infected, that he's hiding from everyone, and he still really cannot walk very far, so they are still carrying him at this point most of the time, because he is just not doing well at all. And it's really hurting his pride, because it's just like, all right, I'm just officially a burden. He is not doing well during this entire arc. And when he gets there, they realize that Bora is not the child of these Ashland Empire nobles that he thought he was. And he is actually Alistair's younger sibling went missing when she was a baby. Now he. And you think Bora's reaction would be a million different things, but his reaction was, oh, yes, those horrible people are not my parents. Because he just is relieved that these horrible noblemen are not his parents. And the thought that Alistair is actually his brother is just amazing to him, even though Alistair killed his fiance. He's already forgiven that. And he is actually just really happy to have a family that doesn't suck. I've actually skipped over several things. I don't even think I got to some of the other major plot points, but this is getting really long, so I'm gonna have to do another, probably a couple videos. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys are enjoying this. It's been an amazing little thing for me to do because like I said, I rely so much on pre-existing worlds that creating my own from pretty much the ground up has been amazing. So thank you so much for watching. See you guys next time. And just be careful out there. The world's a dangerous place.